What's good, peeps? Thanks always for passing by the channel. Much appreciated. Hit that subscribe button if you guys are new. All right, before we start, I just want to say a massive thank you to Tunde Ajayi, who popped down on Wednesday. I only reached out to him on Monday, or was it Tuesday? And he passed through Wednesday. We spoke for about half an hour before filming. The filming was actually about an hour, 25 hour, 30 minutes. And then we spoke for about another half an hour after. So he was here for nearly 3 hours. So again, much appreciated. One of the biggest takeaways just from spending that much amount of time with him is that he's a very passionate individual, very passionate, and really believes in what he does. And even if he's not your cup of tea, even if you don't like him, I read the comments, I can see some people like him, some people don't. Even if you don't, I think we can all appreciate someone that is extremely passionate about what they do, and someone has that work ethic as well. I mean, I don't know if it was on camera, but he did say to me, definitely off camera, that he gets up at like 4 a.m. At the gym at like 5 a.m. and then he's there till late and just repeats that cycle. So again, if you don't like him, appreciate the effort that that guy puts in regardless. One thing I did notice about myself is that, and I've watched the interview back a couple of times, trust me, is, I don't know, obviously there are improvements I can make when interviewing. It's something new to me. What I like to do is almost like, if I ask a question and someone answers and it's a 6-minute answer, that's fantastic, right? Because it's all about them, just let them go. But I think there are times when I might need to kind of steer the ship a bit better. But that will come with time. And if I get the chance to interview Tunde again, there are a lot more questions I want to ask. But again, you almost just want to let them flow. You almost want to give them the floor and let them talk, because it's them you tuning into, not me. All right, let's talk about Anthony Joshua for a few minutes. Obviously, AJ's got this huge fight. I can't express how big this fight is, coming up against Andy Ruiz Jr., Saudi Arabia. I'm actually going out there for that one, 1,000,000,000%. God willing, if the fight still happens in Saudi Arabia. There's a lot of shit going on right now with Saudi Arabia. I don't know if you guys are watching the news, but there's a lot of shit going on. Don't know, not convinced 100% that the fight goes ahead on the date just because of what's going on. Nothing to do with boxing, but just the world in general. Anyway, a few people, particularly Eddie Hearn, did an interview, I think, with Boxing Social the other day, I think it was yesterday, where he said AJ might retire after the Ruiz fight. I've actually said this could be the case as well. But I've said this could be the case if he loses. I said if he loses, he might just think, fuck it, I've made my money. AJ must have made, just from purses alone, touching, I'd say about 120 to 150 million pounds just in purses, especially after the Ruiz fight. So if you add all that money together, it might even be a bit more. And I've always said boxing for me should be a case of get in, get rich, get out. That's always been my thought process. Get in, if you can win titles, get rich, get out. But regardless, get in, get rich, get out. So I've always thought that if AJ loses, he might just think, what's the point? That's always been my thought process with AJ. Because it's a long way back, right? You're losing to the guy you're supposed to beat back to back twice. That's a difficult one. But Eddie Hearn spoke about if AJ wins, he might retire. That's interesting. Again, that could just be Eddie Hearn talking, right? He does that. He's very good at that. My friend actually said it the other day as well. I was out with my friend last night, and he said exactly the same thing. He said AJ could win, and he's not even really a boxing man, but he said AJ could win and just call it quits. And I've never thought of that, if I'm honest with you. Could he do that? I'd say no, right? I don't think he would. I still think he has a lot to prove. People might say, what? Yeah, I still think he has a lot to prove. We still want to see him win a very big one without no asterisks, right? I mean, people will say Klitschko, but then a lot of people, not me, people say, oh, Klitschko was 41, Klitschko was out of the ring nearly 2 years, whatever it was. So people kind of put an asterisk under that performance. I don't. I still think it's a fantastic performance, but I still think he wants the opportunity to fight Wilder or Fury. I don't think AJ will leave the sport without having the opportunity to fight either one of those guys. He's got to, right? He's era of boxing. He's got to fight the guys that are considered the best of that era. I don't think he'll like to go out of boxing without ticking that box. The problem for AJ is that what's the likelihood of him fighting one of these guys? I mean, that's the problem. I mean, Wilder Fury is not happening February 22nd. It's not happening. More likely April, if I'm honest with you. If Fury wins, then the rematch is more likely September. That kind of rules them out for the year. I mean, if Wilder wins and AJ wins, then there's a good chance that could happen. I still think there'll be hurdles making that fight again. I really do. Is AJ as excited to fight a Pulev or a Usyk? Don't know. I don't know. So I guess it's going to be all about hunger. Does AJ have the hunger to really get excited to fight Pulev as a mandatory? Does he have the hunger to really fight Usyk as a mandatory? Does he have the hunger to take the rematch with Dillian White? These are probably the three biggest options in front of him other than Fury or Wilder. He ain't retiring. He ain't retiring. He likes the sport. There are times where I've seen interviews of AJ where I think he is getting bored, right? He does look like he'd rather be anywhere than answering questions, but I think he enjoys the sport of boxing. I think he enjoys it a lot. And that's why I don't see him calling it quits. I really don't. Not until at least he gets the chance to fight Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder. If there's even a smidgen of a chance, is that even a word? But you know what I mean. If there's a small opportunity, he will stay just for that opportunity. If I think all doors are closed, then you never know, right? You never know. Again, I don't think he is overly excited about fighting Usyk. I don't, as much as I think that's a very good fight. Usyk could potentially beat Joshua. We'll soon find out. He definitely isn't excited about fighting Pulev, right? And he definitely isn't excited about the Dillian White rematch. These are fights that don't excite him. Wilder Fury does. And it's up to Eddie Hearn. Rather than saying things like AJ could retire, it's up to Eddie Hearn, the perceived best promoter in the world, or he actually probably is, to make those fights happen. What do you guys think? Let me know. Peace.